And next up, we have black. Scotty, wanna go?
Sure. Is this commons?
Commons in black, yes.
Oh, why is this not working? Sorry, 1 second. Okay, the first black card is a cursed. No, it's not. It's refurbished. My bad.
Refurbished familiar.
You even sent. Yeah, you read it.
For 3 and a
Thanks.
black. It's an artifact creature that says affinity for artifacts. It has flying, it's a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. For each opponent who can't, you draw a card. So it's like a baby Marauder from OTJ. Okay, I mean, 4 mana 2/1 opponent discards a card, or you draw a card. That's not too bad, but there is a good amount of artifacts in this set. So there's a white common that makes an artifact. How many black commons? Not many that make artifacts, but there's just like a lot of type artifacts. I just gotta see exactly. There's a lot of them in black. Like there's a 1/1 which I think is kind of nice. For 1 mana, there's a 2 mana artifact equipment. In white, we have a really good equipment that we talked about. Red has there are a couple of multicolored artifacts. Red has a ton of artifacts. Red has a lot of them. This feels pretty good. I don't know how fast you can be playing. This does feel pretty good. Feels best in Rakdos or white black. I'm gonna be minus.
Me too. This card's really strong. Big fan.
It is a 2/1 though, so it's not that easy to trade with a lot of things.
I am totally okay with that. Not a big deal. B minus. How is this ordered, Lola?
This?
Yeah. How did you order these cards?
Well, it should be by let me see. Oh, they are a little bit weirdly ordered. That is true.
Yeah, it's okay.
That is true.
Retrofitted Transmogrant. It's a black for an artifact creature zombie. It's a 1/1 and 3 and a black. Return Retrofitted Transmogrant to your graveyard from your graveyard to the battlefield. Tapped with 2+1/+1 counters on it. Sacrifice fodder in a set with not a ton of sacrifice synergy. There is a Village Rites-ish thing with flashback that's kind of nice with this, but frankly speaking, expensive to get value off of it. 4 mana to get a 3/3 is nothing special. It's way better than effects we've seen in the past of this, right? Like you repeatedly get 3/3s. But I think it's kind of slow. I'm not a huge believer in this. I understand you can play this and chump with it to buy yourself time to bridge yourself into hopefully value late game. But I don't think you need to be clamoring for this, and they also are quite bad in multiples, right? They're quite bad in multiples because you have to be spending a lot of mana to start bringing them back consistently. So I'm kind of low on this. This is D+ for me.
D+, you said?
Yep.
There
fine.
is basically no affinity. There's just that one common, but one is a good amount of commons with affinity, I guess. I mean, 4 mana to get back a 3/3? That's modified?
It is modified.
That's pretty cool, though. The thing is, very little sacrifice synergy. There is that red 4 mana red 3/3 that can exploit to steal a creature for a turn. Which kind of okay with this, I guess.
Maybe this is better in Golgari than it is in red black.
Why Golgari?
Well, who cares about modified creatures? Cares about modified creatures?
But in the end, you are getting that 4 mana 3/3 that's tapped, so that's not great. Yeah, I'm on a D+ as well. I was a little bit more excited about this card because we've had much weaker cards be pretty good. There is some looting and discarding in blue-black, I guess. We had the coil bug in what's the name, in Ikoria, but it was a 2 mana 2/2. But you had to pay 5 to get it in your hand, and then pay 2 to play it. But there was incredible sacrifice synergies. This set really is kind of crappy, the sacrifice synergy. So that D plus, I can see it going even down. Scurrillos? How do you say this? Scurrillos?
Scurrilous.
Scurrilous? Okay. Sentry. For 3 and a black. It's a 2/3 menace guy. Whenever this thing enters the battlefield or attacks, it connives. Okay, so draw a card, discard it. If you discard something that's a real card. Well, that's also looting, right? For that 1/1, I guess. But then you're getting another 4-drop in the deck. So then it's gonna be like a 3/4 menace. That's nothing special. When it attacks, a 4/5 menace. I mean, it's not too bad, but do we really want to discard non-lands for this? Not much flashback in the set. What do you think?
I think this is the archetypal, really strong common in a normal set, and kind of underwhelming in this.
Yes,
set. So
yes,
I actually think it's slightly better filler. I think it's like slightly better than filler. I think it's like C-.
I'm on a D plus, I think, or even a D. But let's start as D plus. It feels kind of weak and slow for this set. For this set, like there's so many better 3-drops. I think I just give it a D.
And this is a 4-drop.
It's a 4-drop, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on a D. I'm actually on a D. I think there's so much more that you can do on 4 mana in this set. Oh, that's beautiful. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. We're on the Wither and Bloom.
Wither and Bloom. Wither and Bloom is 1 and a black for a 2 mana instant. It has target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. 1 and a black, exile Wither and Bloom from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, that's wild. that's some value for your removal spell. 2 mana, -3/-3. A-okay. An additional very good synergistic upside after that. If you mill this over, you get upside. It's lovely. This is a lovely magic card. I think this is a B.
Yeah, I want a B as well. Very nice. Gives you synergy for these modified things. Just -3/-3 for 2 mana is good. Beautiful. Beautiful card. So now we go back to the normal order where you thought that we were going to start. For some reason I didn't... Scryfall names the card a little bit weirdly sometimes, so I needed to rename them. I didn't do it for black, my bad. It's done for every other color. Oh, it's me? A Cursed Marauder for 1 and a black. It's a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a non-token creature. Non-token is so important for this set with a lot of 0/1s. Very important. And with some germs as well. You can't make them sack the germs. I mean, it's not bad. This is not bad.
Isn't that like almost a downside for you though?
Why?
Because you can't sacrifice
No.
your germs and
No, you sacrifice the 2/1. It's fine. You have this two. You always have this 2/1 to sack, right? So that's fine. They maybe don't have a 2-drop to sacrifice. Maybe it's 3 or 4 or 5 mana card. The problem I have with this, a little bit of a problem, is like there are a lot of cards that have ETB effects that make tokens that give you energy, and this one doesn't have that kind of ETB effect that stays. So you sack this, they sack that, but they got the energy. They got maybe a 0/1. But then there is a good way. You want to be equipping creatures, pumping creatures, giving them +1/+1 counters, using their abilities to adapt. It's okay. It's serviceable. I'm gonna C-. I don't think it's anything special in this set. It's fine. It's playable 2-drop. D+.
I'm a little lower on a D+.
D+, yeah. D+.
I'm not a huge believer in
D+.
this being able to do what you want with it, even in the archetype that's meant for.
A little bit of a cool thing about this is you play multiples of these. Like if they're curving out, you play, they sack a 2-drop. You play the other one, they sack a 3-drop. You play another one, they sack a 4-drop. But you could also be the one who is like the problem. Maybe this is worse than a D+, because you can never play this unless opponent has a non-token creature. right?
Yeah, you just can't play this on turn 2 on the play.
Yeah, you can't play this on turn 2 on play. I'm on a D actually. This is pretty bad, I think. D. Because it's not like, oh, I have the late game now when you play this.
Breathe your last. 1 black for an instant. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. You gain 1 life for each of its colors. Very nice. Quite nice. Bonus life kills anything. A little bit hard to cast. There are a decent amount of value things in a set where energy is one of the main mechanics. But honestly, you can just point this at like Eldrazi's is pretty good there, even though you get like some spawn synergy or spawn value off of it, regardless of whether or not you point a removal at it. Actually, you don't gain any life if you kill a devoid creature, which is very funny. I think this is just solid. B-. I think it is worse than the Wither in Blue.
Yeah, like 1 or 2, 0 up to 2 life. That's pretty good. I'm gonna B- as well. Why are some cards not on the tier list, Scotty? Are some cards not on the tier list?
Yeah, we're missing some.
Really?
The special guests aren't on the tier list, and the commander cards aren't.
Oh, the commander and legacy cards.
Yes.
The
Legacy
one
cards?
slot that we are getting, those are not in the tier list.
Legacy?
So cards from legacy and commander are entering. There is a slot that's called new to modern. Something like that.
No, those cards are on here. I'm talking about the commander cards, like the 6 commander cards that are coming to Arena.
Those are gonna be in like there's gonna be a super low chance to get them on a wildcard slot.
Yeah, like 120. I don't know, like some ridiculously low number.
In a wildcard slot.
Yes, in the wildcard.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You're gonna get them in, right?
Sure.
Are you gonna get them in?
I have to see. I have to see what I'm doing.
Okay.
You can do it though.
You are the boss of that part.
No, you do it.
You can teach me how to do it.
Okay, I'll teach you how to do it.
Can you read the next one?
Yeah. Dream Drinker Vampire. It's a 1 and a black for a creature vampire. Has a 2/1 with lifelink. Is 1 and a black for adapt 1. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Dream Drinker Vampire, it gains menace until end of turn. It's kind of okay to play on turn 2, right? Adapt, notably speaking, is not sorcery speed, so you can threaten this to trade up. Like if you attack into, for example, a 3 toughness creature. Adapting the turn after you play this is not going to feel good. Like, sure, it seems like that's a play you would like to do to gain additional life and stuff, but I'd rather be playing a 3-drop. Like, I'm not really into spending my entire turn 3 just putting a +1/+1 counter on a creature, even if it gets an evasion. So I'm guessing you play this, or I'm guessing you adapt it on like turn 4+. But it's still solid 2-drop. I still think this is pretty good. Has modified synergies, gains you some life. This is a C+ for me.
I'm okay with a C+ as well. It's nice that you can do this if you don't have anything to play on turn 3. That can happen, so that's nice. Would you like this more just as a 2 life linker? Nah. Maybe it's worse than what we're thinking. You can later put +1/+1 counters on it and it gets
Menace again.
I mean, I think it's fine. I think that this is the 2-drop that you gotta draft for black, because you gotta draft 2-drops. Draw's Claw. For 1 and black, it's a living weapon, and equipped creature gets +1/+1. So it's gonna be a 1/1, and whenever equipped creature attacks, each opponent loses 1 life. You can equip it for 2. This feels underwhelming, man. You can stack these and then they just lose a ton of life, right?
Yep.
Not bad with the lifelinker, I guess. But it does cost 2 mana. Like, we've had... I feel like this could cost 1, yeah. You're not really sacking as well. So, we've had... what's the name? We have had... In Neo Kamigawa, we had a 1/1, the monkey. Not the Raga one. We had a 1/1 that could equip for 2. It also gave +1/+1. It was also reconfigure, so you could have it as a 1/1, but it didn't really make you this extra creature. And it costed 1. That was so huge. And then it was not the same effect, but worse effect, a little bit worse. Where it dealt 1 damage to an opponent if the creature gets blocked. But I also do feel like this set is a higher power level. It's not on the same level as Modern Horizons 2, so we gotta tone down some things. But I don't know, I mean, I think you can stack these... but it costs so much to equip and to play. Is this gonna secretly be amazing? Because the effect is really good, right? If you're aggressive, you just attack, put few of these on a creature and it deals ton of damage and it's big and you do it again. And this feels pretty good if you can make... It's gotta be a super fast deck, right? This has to be a super fast deck. But is black gonna be super fast? I don't think so. So I'm gonna give this D+.
Okay, I'll go slightly. I'll go slightly more optimistic at a C-. I mean, it's like pretty nice to curve this into the reconfiguring rat, and then you're gonna slap it on the rat. Like, it's a lot of damage. Like, even if you're not like hyper aggressive, it's
what is a
okay
reconfiguring rat?
What is it called? The rat that you play, the affinity for artifact. Refurbish familiar.
Huh. Okay. Because reconfigure is an ability. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I thought it was reconfigured familiar for some reason, but it's refurbished familiar.
Probably because I was saying that word a couple of times.
Yeah, you put it in my head.
Yeah, curve with that is kind of okay. Then attack with a flyer. I mean, that's a lot of mana still. So what do you give it? A C-. Okay.
C-.
I feel like this could have been like a little bit bigger or something. Cost less. Okay, next up.
Eviscerator's Insight. 1 and a black. 2 mana for an instant. As additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or a creature. Draw 2 cards, and you can flash it back for 4 and a black. Notably, when you have a flashback on an instant, you can play this at instant speed from your graveyard. Kind of nice. I'm not a huge believer in like a sacrifice archetype, but you can do stuff like sacrifice wayward spawns. Like, I don't think you need to be a sacrifice deck to necessarily run this. You know, you just have to have things that you would be okay with sacrificing. So I think it's fine. I think it's okay. I'm not like huge into flashback for 5 mana, but it's very nice that it's there, right?
Yeah.
It is clunky, but the value is a lot. Frankly, is a lot, right? Like, normally speaking, when you build sacrifice synergies, it's a deck building challenge to balance sacrifice effects and sacrifice synergies. But if you have a card like this that actually does it twice in one, right, for the value, then it's a lot easier to weigh yourself on having like actual impact for meaningful cards that aren't just A plus B things. So it's kind of nice. Even then, I'm not taking this particularly highly. I'm taking this as like a D plus because I don't think it's going to be that difficult to get.
Yeah, D plus as well. I think it's pretty good for the fact like slashback is huge on this one. I maybe gonna work the best in like green black decks where you get a little bit more of those Eldrazi tokens, 0/1s. So that's kind of nice, right? Where you have a bit more of those, so you can have more late game. Yeah, really cool card. I like that it exists. Fetid Garangachua for 4 and a black. It's a 4/4 with 3 mana, Adept 2. Adept, this is the first Adept card maybe? No, we had one. Okay, just if it doesn't have, remember that +1/+1 counters, you can put 2, because it's Adept 2. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on this thing, you may draw 2 cards. If you do, you lose 2 life. Okay. That's a lot of value. 5 + 3, that's 8 in total. Get 2 cards, lose 2 life, and get a 6/6. It's really bad on the front side. There's some green and green-black things where you can put counters on your creatures. So that can be okay with this one. How many of these can you actually put in a deck? I think I'm gonna be on a D+. I don't think you can put many.
I think you put like 3 in your deck.
3?
Yeah.
Because of the lifelink?
I think you put a lot.
Yeah, how do you
I think this card's good.
3/5 mana 4/4. How do you put that in the deck?
3 5 mana 4/4s?
Yeah.
I mean, 5 mana, like a 4/4 on turn 5, even if you're trading with like a 4-drop, is like not the end of the world. It's a bad stat line for sure.
It's
But
really
there's
bad.
a really high upside here. The adapt trigger is also a May, so you don't have to lose a life. You can just make it a 6/6.
I think
I
if
think
you
it's
have a
nice. I
lot
think
of
it's way better than
lifelinkers,
B
it's
plus.
okay.
I'm taking it as C plus.
C plus?
Yeah, I'm taking it as C plus.
There's no chance that that's gonna be how it works.
Okay, I think this card's really good. I think it's actually huge when you untap with it.
It is pretty cool with the Area Auxiliary, right? With the white 3/3.
It's pretty
It's
cool. With
actually
that card.
pretty good
It's
with
pretty
white,
dang
right?
good with the black removal spell.
Oh, it's pretty good with the black removal. That helps it out. Yeah, but it's still a 5 mana 4/4. You're gonna take it that high? Like you're just gonna jamming this in your deck?
Yeah, I think this is a premium common.
If that's true, then this format is gonna be a blast to play. It's gonna be so great. There is that like 3 mana 2/2 in white that puts a counter here, so you can do it more times. You have the 4 mana 3/3 flyer that puts counters, so you can do that and then just draw cards. The lifelinker helps a lot. I'm still gonna be on a D plus, but I hope this is gonna be good. If this is good, it's kind of an amazing format.
Gravedig. It's a 1 and a black for a sorcery. Choose one. Target player creates a 2/2 black zombie creature token, or return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and you can entwine it for 2. And entwine means that if you pay the 2 additional, you get to choose both. So for 4 mana, you get a Gravedigger. Ha 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 ha. Very funny.
Yeah.
Gravedigger is not a 2024 Magic card anymore. It's too small. It's a little too small.
And you
the
cannot
fact that this
chain
is
multiple
flexible-
gravediggers here. You cannot just like.
Oh, you can't chain multiple Gravediggers? Ugh, barf. Wow. Yeah, I'm just like, ugh. Sad.
Yeah, because it's sorcery.
That's very sad. This card is flexible because you can play it as a bear. Or really bad on Earth. I think this is super replaceable.
Yeah, flexible but
uh,
replaceable.
I think this is a D. I think this is a D.
I'm on a D, man. In older Magic sets, this would be amazing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but it's still a pretty good flexibility, right? You can put this in the deck and a couple of these. It doesn't get itself back is a problem. Like if you play a lot of these as creatures, then you're playing a lot of 2/2s that are not like for 2 mana when you paid for 2 that you cannot get back. But at one point those 2/2s are getting creatures back from your graveyard, so that's really good. They're really good creatures to get back. I'm on a slightly more optimistic. I'm kind of hoping this is. They're really good creatures to get back. I can see like playing less 2-drops because of this, and then still having great late game. That's not nothing. That's important. I'm on a C- for this one. I think it's okay.
It's pretty convincing actually.
Because like you put 3 of these in your deck, then okay, 2/2 is really crappy for 2 mana, especially in this set, but it is a 2-drop. And then at one point, oh cool, now I don't need 2-drops ever again, so let's get my best creatures from the graveyard, and there are really good ones.
I think there's some decks where if your entire 2-drop slot with Gravedigs, you'd be pretty happy. And I think that's fine.
I'm gonna be on a C. I'm gonna go to C. What grade did you give it in the end?
Wow, we're bringing it up. I'll go to C as well.
Okay. Kami of the Jealous.
We grave dug the Gravedigger.
Kami of the Jealous Thirst. For 2 and a black, it's a spirit that is a 1/3 Death Toucher. And for 4 and a black, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. But this ability costs nothing if you've drawn 3 or more cards this turn. Activate only once each turn. Okay. So 3 mana 1/3 trades with literally anything. That doesn't have first strike, of course, but... So... It's gonna always trade, so that's nice. And it's gonna have late game. Drain for 2, for 5 is huge. if you do draw 3 cards, like that's gonna happen in some blue decks, some Dimir decks. Like you have that draw 3, you have like loot and draw 1. You have the you have the multicolored black blue card, which it's an uncommon, right? And it draws you 2 extra cards when it attacks, but it's a little bit weird. So I'm kind of okay with this one. I'm gonna. It does also trade with anything. That's not bad. I think I'm gonna be on a C for this one.
Yeah, I'll be slightly lower on a C minus, but I also agree that it's quite powerful to get drain to.
Yeah, drain to
for free.
Small.
That's like a really powerful effect. Like not only does it obviously pressure your opponent, but it kind of subsidizes spinning your wheels in terms of the time that you have, because gain 2 life is nothing to sneeze at when you're drawing 3 cards.
Oh, that's
like when you're sacrificing board presence for drawing, you know, like for cantrips and stuff.
Like I can see,
kind of nice to have some life padding.
I can see the deck that has like a couple of these, and then you're also. Oops, sorry. If you're Dimir, great, but if you're not, even then, you're playing those 2 mana sacrifice something, draw 2 cards. So that's 3 cards in a turn. Like you draw your on the beginning phase, you draw 1 card and then 2 more. So that's gonna be 2 cards. Sorry, that's gonna be 3 cards, and then you activate all of them when you do that. And these are combinations for common cards, right? You're doing combos for common cards, and you don't have to do that, right? It's just like while you're developing, you can still drain sometimes. And that 5 like card draw spells in blue are gonna get better, and in black as well, because well, drain 2 means that you have time to use those cards. It has always been the biggest problem of the biggest problem of card draw is always do I have time to play these cards, or do I not have time? And this makes you to have time more often to play those cards, right? Because you're winning with value. When you're winning with value, you don't always play out your card. Sometimes the game ends before that happens. I like that card. All right, we're on to the uncommons. How do you like the commons in black?
I like the commons in black, actually. I was kind of dubious with the Accursed Marauder. What is it called? Oh, yeah, Accursed Marauder. Because I'm like, black's kind of in trouble if they don't have a lot of 2-drops that they can play proactively on 2, and Accursed Marauder is not one of them. But then the fact that Gravedig and the argument that Gravedig is actually totally serviceable for the black decks that want them as a 2-drop that then just scales later in the game,
and
is
a 2/1 lifelinker,
kind of appealing. Yeah, kind of appealing.
And a 2/1 lifelinker just like helps you get to that late game where you're drawing extra cards. And black seems like it's so both blue and black seem like they're gonna have a pretty good time in the later parts of the game. And they have, I think they have tools to get there.
Well, obviously good removal. Black always does. But
black is really nice
good removal.
Yeah. All right, next up.
We're looking at once again skipping to the middle of the pack with Marionette Apprentice. 1 in the black for a creature, Human Artificer. It's a 1/2 with Fabricate 1. Whenever another creature or artifact you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Really strong. This is really nice. It's kind of awkward that you're somewhat disincentivized from double blocking with this, but honestly speaking, if you have to, you have to. Not a big deal. And if this just stays on the battlefield, it's just kind of be for a 2-drop. It's going to be annoying for your opponent to deal with. Like, this will definitely pressure the opponent's life total over a long game, which is quite nice. So I think this is just a high quality 2-drop. This is a B- for me.
Right.
Also, I understand modified synergies, but I have a tough time imagining I'm putting the +1/+1 counter on.
I have just really updated it with the correct order.
Okay.
Like, let's start with the Condor, so then we're gonna get back to the card that we read right now.
Okay.
Can you start with the Condor? Because it's gonna be much easier this way.
Okay. Arcbound Condor, 2 black for an artifact creature bird. It's a 0/0 flying and modular 3. Modular 3 means that it starts with 3 +1/+1 counters, but when it dies, you can move the +1/+1 counters to target artifact creature. to target artifact creature. So you can't move it to any creature, and specifically can't move it to a germ. So despite it being an artifact, you can't move it to Dross Claw Germ, which is kind of awkward. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, target creature and opponent controls gets -1/-1 so end of the turn. 4 mana 3/3 flyer with an effect that, frankly speaking, is pretty dang good. Pretty good, right? Like if you play this and Tamio's Story Circle, you just get to fireball something.
Wait, what? If you play what? Tamio?
This into Tamio's Story Circle.
Oh, that's the saga, right?
You just get to smack something real nice.
That's a saga, right? That's the saga.
That's a saga, yeah.
Wait, but it's not. It's much better than a fireball.
Oh, because you get to divide it.
You can divide it.
Oh, that's a Rolling Thunder.
Oh, that's a combo.
Yeah, that's a combo. That's nice.
Oh man, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Notably speaking, it's difficult. You can't look at this and say, "Hey, I'm going to remove large creatures." It gets exponentially harder to remove creatures with larger toughness. But this will just end your opponent's board of X ones, right? It will end it. The body itself, whatever. The effect, pretty good, pretty dang good. Overall, I think it's a pretty good card. What kind of artifact creatures are we looking at actually? So, like, what kind of artifact creatures do we actually have?
Because we
like
didn't
the Servo
really
from
like
Marionette
them.
Apprentice. At common?
On common, we didn't really like them. That's the thing.
Well, Refurbished Familiar is quite good to put on.
Yeah. The 2/1 flyer.
And the Transmogrant, whatever. I think the effect is powerful enough where I'm going to give it a C+, but I can also see it going down if the body is too bad.
Yeah, I can see it going down when in red it's gonna get better. In red you have really nice things, I think, on common artifacts, but it is like you do need extra artifacts. I don't think you just need the 3/3 flyer. So if you put it anywhere, the counters, that's amazing. And if you kill anything with your artifacts, that's amazing. So I think I also started as a C+, but a ceiling? Definitely ceiling on this one, man. Ceiling of a B?
Ceiling of a B?
B?
Sure.
Yeah, B seems fine.
B?
Consuming Corruption for double black. It's an instant that says it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker and you gain X life, where X is the number of swamps you control. Fuck yeah, man. Things need to target planeswalkers, and I'm very happy that they do. Things just really need to target planeswalkers. And I don't know what happened in OTJ, but now things actually target planeswalkers. So... Okay, how much is this doing? Like, very easy to get 2 swamps, to deal 2 and gain 2, which is nothing special. We've seen it in somewhere. Zendikar, I don't remember. Teros, it was something. Maybe War of the Spark, can't remember. I think it's War of the Spark. But when you have 3 swamps, it gets really good, right? Storm's Thirst, yeah.
It's really good.
That's really good. And it can just get better from there. I'm still on a C+, I think, for this one. What do you think?
Do you want to give a ceiling for this one? Like, what if you're like a mostly black deck splashing?
Mostly, I mean, if you're mono black, this is fucked. But ceiling?
Isn't that the definition of a ceiling?
I mean, no, you're never mono black, I think. This set has way too many. It has common multicolor cards. It really incentivizes you to not be mono. So ceiling is like a B-, I think.
Okay. The thing to not sneeze about this card is not even that it can kill large things for an efficient cost. It's that you gain that much life. It's crazy. Like how much life you can gain off of this.
But it's not much usually.
I mean, gaining 3 or 4 is a ton.
That's
a ton of life.
That's a lot, yeah.
That's a lot of life. So I'm happy with at a C+.
Alright. Ceiling B-.
The Creation of Abyssin. 1 black for a saga. First chapter. Search your library for a card. Exile it face down, then shuffle. That chapter does nothing. It doesn't do anything. Chapter 2. Turn the exiled card face up. If it's a creature, you lose life equal to its mana value. Alright. Chapter 3, you may put the exiled card onto the battlefield if it's a creature card. If you don't put it onto the battlefield, put it into its owner's hand. All right, for 3 mana and 3 turns, you can tutor a non-creature spell. All right, because you turn it face up, and like if it's a sorcery or removal spell, you don't take any damage. And then chapter 3, you put into your hand, right? But if you like flip an Eldrazi, you flip your Eldrazi, you take 7 to the face, and then you put it straight on the battlefield.
You don't cast it.
Yeah, you don't cast it, but you put it straight on the battlefield for the low cost of 3 mana and 3 turns. You have jumped through the hoop, first of all, of being able to have 2 swamps on turn 3, which is not consistent. You're going to miss on that, even in a 9-8 split, like 20-ish%, 25% of the time. You have to then recoup that loss of tempo of spending your turn 3 doing nothing to defend yourself for that damage you're going to take to the face, which is another incredible hoop to jump through. And then for chapter 3, yeah, you get a pretty good upside. You get a pretty solid upside. I think this card is really bad. I'm frankly speaking, a lot more interested. Like if I have a non-creature bomb, like if we're playing OTJ, I have like Crackle of Power. All right, I'm just gonna spend 3 turns to like tutor it up, and then I think it's a bad card.
It's horrible.
So I think this is an F. I think this is actually an F.
Yeah, this is unplayable, unfortunately. Tutor is just not good by itself, but tutor that maybe loses your life, tutor that you need to wait for 2 or 3 turns, it's really bad. Just don't play it. Dreadmobile. For 2 and a black, it's a 3/3 menace. For 1, sacrifice another artifact or a creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on Dreadmobile. You crew it for 1. Okay, that's the only, I think, sacrifice. The only thing that actually sacrifices. Only thing that stays on board and continuously can sacrifice things. But it's still a vehicle. Still a menace 3/3. You can sack Eldrazi tokens, so that's kind of nice if you don't have use for them. How much do you care about sacking? It's still a vehicle that needs to be crewed as well.
That you notably can't crew with your spawn tokens.
You cannot crew it with spawn tokens. I don't like this one. Yeah, I don't like this one. I'm on a D, just D.
Me too. Do you want a ceiling grade?
What was the ceiling? Why do we have
Like
a ceiling?
a C? I mean, like I don't think like a sacrifice, like, true or false, do you think a sacrifice deck exists as like a normal archetype in this format?
No.
No, I don't either. But like you could put the cards together, right? You could get like, I don't know, a lucky draft, get 2 of the white uncommon afterlife cards, get like the black thing that comes back from the graveyard, and then all of a sudden you have a decent amount of sack fodder. And then this is kind of a beater.
It's also like when you have this in white black, when you have these living weapons for 1 and 2 mana, it's a nightmare to block this, but it's fine if they don't block it, right?
Yeah, I would like this to apply a little bit more pressure if they don't block, but it doesn't. It's a 3/3.
Yeah, I don't think we need a ceiling grade. I would love it if this card is good, but it doesn't feel good.
Doesn't feel good to me. Etched Slith, 1 and a black. For an artifact creature, Phyrexian Slith, it's a 1/1 with menace. Whenever Etched Slith deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. When you do, you may remove a counter from another target permanent or opponent. You can drain energy with this because it removes from opponent. You can drain experience counters with this, which is in this set. You can remove +1/+1 counters. This is small. It's small. It's quite easy to get the first hit in. The first hit, I think you can usually get as long as you're playing this on turn 2. The second hit, the problem is like a 2/2 menace is not overwhelming in combat. It probably trades 1 for 1 at that point. But I guess it does force your opponent to stay on the back foot, but seems like nothing special. It needs removal spell assistance. and then you can snowball, which I've never really liked those cards historically. But the upside is there. The upside is reasonable. I do like how this lines up with like you play this on your turn 2 on the play, your opponent like plays like the looter of energy, and you can start like draining energy. Then maybe you have a removal spell to like turn this into a 3/3, and then you get going. But it does need additional help to the point. I'm not really about it. I think this is like a C.
Yeah, the problem is also when you draw it a little bit later, then it's a 1/1, man. It's just you really need it on that turn to and attack and start attacking.
I'm a C minus.
I'm actually on a D for this one. Again, can get going, but very conditional, and it's hard for you to continue snowballing. You can sometimes adapt, there are some adapt things where you can remove your own counter and then use it again, but at that point you're probably never connecting with this. And black doesn't really have tricks. They're kind of printing less tricks since the play boosters came. So black really has no tricks. It's just removal spells, which are pretty good. Which can help this out a lot, these removal spells. Black has a 1-mana trick? Really? No, it doesn't.
The hybrid Golgari card.
Okay, that's uncommon. So when we talk, like for tricks, it's kind of important that you're not thinking about the cards as like I'm gonna have these two uncommons as combinations of cards, like because it's hard to have a decent amount of uncommons that you can expect that these cards work well together. You kind of need to draw your synergy from commons first, so you can expect, okay, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Not, oh, I got lucky this draft and I can do this. So you need it to be kind of expected in order to assign like a good value of a card to a card. There's not more uncommons than commons. I mean, there are more uncommons than commons, but not. So you see them even rare, right? Anyways, like I'm on a D plus for this one. It's fine if it gets
D plus?
going.
Okay, me too. We've joined forces.
What?
You talked me down. We've joined forces. High five to D plus.
High five to D plus. Ethereum Terramander. What?
Oh yeah, it's you. I'm sorry, it's you. Go ahead.
Hey. For black, you get a 1/1 flyer, and it can only block creatures with flying. For 6 and black, you adapt 4, so it becomes a 5/5. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each other artifact you control. Yeah, I don't know. That's a problem. White black, maybe that guy that gives lifelink, uncommon that gives lifelink to your modified creatures is pretty cool. Not being able to block is really big, I think. There are enough artifacts, but I don't think there are as many. Like, it's not LCI where, oh, I'm gonna have 4 artifacts and this is gonna cost like 3 mana. 5/5 flyer is huge. I don't like this card. Like, I think black is gonna have really good late game, and that means that you're gonna be very interested in blocking. So I'm gonna go with a D plus for this one as well. Because it might be good in some more faster decks.
I mean, do you think this card has a ceiling? Because like this is definitely an aggressive card.
Yeah, I can give it a ceiling. Yeah, ceiling of C plus B minus.
I think it could have a B minus ceiling.
Yeah, B minus ceiling seems fine.
Because like some decks, you're like gonna know you drop this on turn 1, you feeling good, like really good. Grim Servant, 3 and a black for 4 mana for a creature zombie warlock. It's a 3/2 with menace. When Grim Servant enters the battlefield, search your library for a card with mana value less than or equal to your devotion to black. Reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle. You lose 3 life. If you play this on an empty board, you can search for a land and you can search for a 1-drop. Also of note, it's mandatory. This is a mandatory trigger. If you're at 3, 2, or 1 life,
you cannot play this.
Uncastable. You can't cast it. How good is 4 mana 3/2 menace? Search for a land. Lose 3 life. I would say that's bad. I would say that's a bad magic card. I don't expect your devotion to get like that much higher. Like what are we searching out exactly that I'm really happy about it?
2-3
Like
devotion
your best
is
3-drop?
2-3 devotion is, I think, not as hard to
2-3 devotion is pretty good. 2-3 devotion is pretty good, and I don't think it's like that hard to get.
I still
Like,
don't think
it's not that unreasonable to have 2-3 devotion.
You say that it's pretty good? I don't think it's pretty good. Because you're
I
losing
think
3
it's
life.
pretty good. You're losing 3 life, and you're fetching out your best of those, including one being like a murder that can gain life back, which is fine. I think it's fine. Overall, I'm kind of lukewarm on the card. I think overall it's a C though.
I think overall it's like 3 life is so much to lose. I think against some decks you just can't play this out no matter what you're searching for. I think it's D+. 3 life is so much to pay, man. I can see it being much worse. It's so much to pay. It's just like there are a lot of games where you can't afford it. Because it's not like you're getting like some crazy value. You're getting a card. Lethal Throwdown for a black. It's a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature or sacrifice a modified creature. That's so weird, man. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. If the modified creature was sacrificed, draw a card. What?
Why do you need... I'm so confused.
Yeah.
If you have that second, why do you need the first? I don't know.
What?
If you worded it like if a modified creature was sacrificed, draw a card, then why do you need to distinguish? I'm very confused.
I'm very confused of what you said first, because you said if you have a second thing, why do you need the first one? Like,
I know. I didn't. I was baffled. I don't. It's beyond me.
You were confuzzled. So yeah, I don't understand. Modified creature is still a creature. Just why is it not sacrifice a creature? This is so weird, man. This is so weird. Some wording is weird in this set. This definitely is easier to code. It's not easier to code. Like wording doesn't have anything to do with the coding. What the fuck? Yeah, this just doesn't make sense. There is no arena coding. You say that one more time, you get banned. It's like there is.
Wait. Do you? Why are you saying that?
The card can on a card the text could be and it could be destroy target. The coding could be destroy target creature. Like the coding
they've said they said themselves that they have an automatic reader that reads the card and interprets it on its own to do what the effect. So they don't manually code every card.
I knew that. Why are you saying that?
Happy John is right.
Why are you saying that I didn't know that?
No, I'm not. I'm just asking if you knew that.
Why are you even asking? Of course. And
this
is how it should be worded.
You're just testing me.
And this is how it should be worded. And I am not going to ban anybody because you're right. You guys were correct. As was I, because I knew that. Really? Like that exists? That's what I said? That's like real thing, Scotty?
That's a real thing, yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
They attributed it to be able to pump out way more cards on Arena than they could before.
Okay, this has nothing to do with English. It has to do like we are not coding we are getting help from this auto reader that codes on itself, I guess. That's actually pretty cool. Okay. Now I'm fine with that. So that's why we have all the weird wording. Okay. That seems fine. Yeah, why not then? Is this good? Modified creature. Modified creatures are germs. Germs are modified creatures, so that's kind of cool. You cannot say.
I really like sacrificing germs.
Sorry, what?
I really like sacrificing germs.
I mean, I
really hate sacrificing +1/+1 counter creatures.
Yeah, I don't like this card in this set. Do you like this card in this set?
I think it's fine. I think it's like a C.
I think in this set it's like there's only one modular creature in the whole set, by the way, unless I'm mistaken. I think there's just one.
Which is the uncommon.
Which is the uncommon, yeah. It doesn't sound good, like even if you... This seems like a very bad thing to sacrifice like ores of common that is gonna get back. None of those seem good, like... It's important, guys, it's very important to distinguish with what exists, what can be done, and what is actually good to do. That's like... Those are very important things, right? Like Wizards a lot of times makes some synergies, some cards that synergize with each other, and like those are, yeah, those synergies exist. But then it's always a question like, is that a synergy that I want, or is that something that is not good on curve? Is that something that is not good for my value game? Is that something that is worse than just not doing this synergy, just playing regular cards? Because the answer, if you're gonna get into synergies, like the answer needs to be, yeah, this is what I like to be doing. This is helping me win. And I don't think sacking a 3-drop to get a 1/1 flyer for this effect is pretty good. So yeah, I think it's just a D for this set. I think it's just a D for this set.
I mean, you don't like throwing a spawn at something?
Throwing a what? Oh, there's a spawn. Oh, there's a spawn actually. That's kind of good.
Yeah, just throw a spawn at something.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's pretty good. Well, who are you laughing at?
No one, I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's true, that's true. Forgot about spawns. Okay. Yeah, I wanna see for this one. Reform, that's pretty cool, yeah. But see. Alright, you already read this one. Do you like it?
I gave it a B-.
Yeah, creature or artifact into graveyards from the battlefield. This is not non-token. So, Scott, if you forgot, there are spawns in this set. 0/1 creatures, you know?
Mm. Yeah.
And you can lose those creatures as well. This is actually crazy good. This is what, a 2/3 that with this effect? Or a 1/2 that makes a 1/1 with this effect? This is actually crazy good. I think it's better than a B-. It's a 2-drop, man. Whenever another creature or artifact...
So cheap.
Doesn't trigger once per turn, doesn't need non-tokens. Man, this is one of the best cards I've seen in this set. It's like B or a B+. I would actually say this is a B+. I think this is one of the best, if not the best, uncommon in the set. B+. This is
very, very good.
This is incredible.
Did they bring Marionette Master to Arena, or is that one of the cards they cut for remastered?
Which one? That's like the 6-drop?
Yeah. Did you play with the 6-drop?
Yeah.
It's a joyful card.
Yeah, that's. But this is better.
Yes, it's way better. This card's way better.
Yeah, man, I like this a lot. Creature or artifact. Oh, this is pretty good. Wow. Mindless Conscription for 2 and a black. It's an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield and whenever you draw your third card each turn, amass zombies 3. If you didn't play War of the Spark, I think that was the last one. Amass means if you have no army, you make a 0/0 army and you put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. But if you already have an army, you're just gonna add 3 +1/+1 counters to that army. So, in theory, you are not gonna have 2 armies. You can steal an army from the opponent and shit like that, but in this set you're basically never having 2 armies. Okay. So 3 mana 3/3. And whenever... Man, this is good! This is good! So, you have the card that Scotty likes a lot, the 5 mana 4/4 that's gonna make you draw 3 cards. And then you get a 3/3, or you grow your army. Then you have these are commons. Then you have a 2 mana card that sacrifices something, and you draw 2 cards, and you get an army. Man, you can literally just sacrifice this army that you had, draw 2 cards, make another one. Right? 2 mana, draw 3 cards with a flashback for 5. You don't need draw 3, you need draw 2. So, this is incredible. The big deal about these cards is also, does it have synergies in the color? Because then you know, I don't have to be some color, particular color. This is incredible. I'm gonna give this a B, just a B. Maybe a B plus, starting it with a B. Ceiling of a B plus. Maybe that? What do you think?
Gee. Hold on.
No.
It says nothing when it enters, right?
Sorry, what?
Oh no, it's a 3/3 when it enters. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is a B. This is a B.
I mean, if you like that 5 mana card, then this is incredible.
Yeah, this card's fantastic. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Wow. What the heck?
You get a 3/3 when you get a 3/3 when you have 2 draw 2s on the common rarity, common in black, and one of them also has flashback. But you do get a 3/3.
And when you trade it off, it just comes back. The heck?
The best case scenario is just trade this 3/3 all the time. But sometimes just make a 6/6. That's fine. I love this. This is incredible. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, just casual 6/6. Yeah.
I'm extremely excited about playing with this card.
Wild. Quest for the Necropolis. It's a black for an enchantment, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a quest counter on Quest for the Necropolis. 5 and a black, sacrifice Quest for the Necropolis. Put target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each quest on the Quest of Necropolis. Well, for each quest counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. You drop this on turn 1. Pretty reasonable by the time you actually want to activate this. That this is 1 mana reanimate, you don't lose life. Which is crazy high upside. That's a pretty dang crazy high upside. That's pretty good. This is something I'm going to want to Throbbing Charm. But this is strong. This is strong. Huge tempo. The fact that you can steal your opponent's stuff, right? And double spell with it pretty frequently. You know, like murder your opponent's like large 5-drop that they just played, steal it. This is it's a good card for me. This is like a B minus.
Oh, B minus? That's low.
Yeah, it's kind of mopey as a top deck, sure, but it's a pretty, like, once you hit 7 mana, it's a fine top deck, right? Once you hit 7 mana, it's fine top deck. It's really awkward around like turns 5 through 6, or like lands 5 through 6, I guess. But early, very good. Hyper late, very good, or pretty good at least. Overall, pretty good. B minus.
I think I want to C minus for this one.
Why are you a hater?
Sorry, what?
Why are you a hater?
I'm a hater. I mean, I think that you're gonna be expending picks on the things that are not kind of like reactive in like this way, conditional. Double spelling is pretty cool. I would give this like a way lower. I think maybe it's lower than C minus. Sure, you play it on turn 1 and then it's easier for you to do this thing. Later on, I think it's really crappy. The effect, like the reward is fine, but then also bigger things need to get into the graveyard. Eldraziers are on cast, but they're still fine to get. I don't know. I don't think this is much better than just 5 mana get something back from the graveyard, and I don't like 5 mana get something back from the graveyard. I don't think it's much better.
I kind of like 5 mana get anything back from the graveyard. Like from your opponent's graveyard too.
Yeah, I don't. And Eldrazi's being the big things are on cast. There are not many big creatures in this set that are not Eldrazi's. It's like they are. Other creatures are not that big. Maybe maximum 5 drops, which are usually, most of them are not that great. Yeah, it's from a graveyard. Yeah, stealing of the Eldrazi's is fine. It's kind of okay with that cycle Eldrazi, right? On uncommon, 2 mana cycle that has like 6/6 and later one. I want to C minus it. Because of all these things, I think the set is too high power level to use the pick on this set. That's how it feels like.
How do you not feel like it's actually really, really strong on turn 1?
I mean, it is pretty good on turn 1, yeah, I can see that. It is really good on turn 1. That's why I think I give it a C-.
Super efficient.
Yeah. You can just sneak it in somewhere as well on turns 3, 4, 5. I just don't know how many of these like huge things you're gonna get. Is that a big creature card? Yeah, C- as a start. Don't think that's gonna be that great. Now, Wormcoil Larva is a 5-mana 3/3 death touch lifelinker, and when it dies, it's artifact creature. Create a 1/2 artifact worm that has death touch, and you create a 2/1 artifact worm that has lifelink. So we got Wormcoil and baby Wormcoil, literally baby Wormcoil engine. I didn't know that Wormcoil engine starts as a larva, but now we do know that. That's incredible. 5-mana 3 to death touch lifelink trades with things. They really don't want it to die, because then you get another trade with things and a 2/1 lifelinker, and you get a lot of artifacts. The reanimation from the last card was sorcery speed. This is incredible. This is really fucking good. This is the 5-drop that I always want. And it's death touch lifelink, right? I mean, sure, it's not Wormcoil engine, but it doesn't have to be like one of the most broken cards. I think it's even in this set, it's still a B.
B for Wormcoil Larva.
Yeah, maybe even B+, but let's start it as a B. Crazy powerful.
Boggart Bog. Alright, hold on. It's actually Boggart Trawler. 2 and a black for 3 mana for a creature goblin. It's a 3/1. When Boggart Trawler enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. And it flips into these lands that taps for color or pay 3 life to come into play untapped. Which is nice. The body's nothing special. The effect, nothing special. But the flexibility? Nice flexibility. What kind of... There's no, like, dedicated graveyard deck in this format. A lot of the... Like, there's some graveyard synergy, sure, but a lot of the cards... a lot of the archetypes, even Golgari, matters more about, like, what's on your field rather than, like, what's in your graveyard. So it's not like this is going to, like, hose an archetype completely. But it is value. I like it. This is a C+ for me.
I'm thinking about like huge creatures. With these Eldrazi spawns, it's gonna be easy to block the huge creatures. So, like I was thinking about the enchantment that we just reviewed that makes treaties. Like you have 2 on the battlefield, and you're like making a 6/6 every time you draw 2 extra cards, or you're making or you're giving +6/+6 to your thing. But it can be chumped. For this one, I'm like on a C. It's a free card. It's a pretty bad 3-drop. It's a really bad 3-drop. I can see it going to C-. It's still a land, but it's a really bad 3-drop when you play it. So the reward is not huge. So, but C, I think C is fine. Felmire and Fel the Profane. It's same thing. You get a land that you can untap for 3 life when it enters the battlefield. But this one is 2 and double black. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Now that's nice. That is nice. Instant speed, kill anything. You either have a land or you can kill anything. I think with this card I'm easily going to 18 lands, and I think black is gonna care about 18 lands. I think black has enough synergies, enough value, enough card draw that you're gonna be pretty happy with 18 lands. I think this one you just always count as a non-land, but then you also have 18 lands now. Its deck is much more consistent. This one I think I'm taking as a B.
I'm taking this one as a B+. I've got a real question to completely derail the set review. Is that statement that you just made? Do you think that's a result of not like this is like somewhat offensive, but I can say it to you because we're friends. Do you think that's a result of best of one intuition? Because I kind of feel like you'd want to go to 18 lands with any of these modal double faces.
No, I don't think so. Like some like with the Boggart, I'm for example for the Boggart, the previous one. For me, for anywhere, it's like this is a land in my deck. But when I have enough lands, alright, I got a crappy 3-1. That's kind of how I'm going for it. Because I don't want to be drawing my normal land count. And then, okay, but then the extra card is a 3-1. I want to be like, okay, I'm drawing my normal land count, but I don't need one of them. And then, here you go, play a 3-1.
Yeah, but I'm kind of wondering if we're a best of one build though, because like I kind of feel like a lot of decks want to be going 18 lands, like way more than we have been, like as a arena community.
I don't know, really.
But,
Like
it's a thought for another time.
In MKM, like most of the time I played 18 lands, I think, without any dual phase. Like most of the time I was playing 18 lands. So many times with a lot of searches and stuff like that. No, not MKM. Yeah, Murders at Color Manor, yeah. So, depending on the set, some sets I love 18 lands, some sets I prefer 17. B plus for
Pinnacle.
you? Okay.
Oh no, sorry, not Pinnacle Monk. We're on the rares.
Yeah, but I don't think it's. You think it's that, like best of one, or?
I mean, like I've always wondered how best of one damages our intuitions, like with mulliganing and stuff in mono bases.
I mean, I've been playing a lot of best of 3 as well before. Before I've been playing a crap ton of best of 3, and
Yeah.
I was still not playing 18 lands, and so I don't think it's that at all. It's also a lot of sets have been very aggro focused, with so many good things on 1 and 2 that you don't need 18 lands for that.
It's just a side thought I've had, because like best of one and best of 3 are like pretty drastically different in terms of hand smoothing.
Yeah.
I think so. But I was always wondering how it affected our deck building.
Well, I was mostly best of 3 player for the longest time, so I can tell you from experience, it's not that different. I actually
Oh, you got rid of the
think I'm getting screwed. It feels like I'm getting screwed more in best of 1, land screwed. So there you go. I feel like I'm more non-games. I can't smoother. I don't know exactly even what it does anymore. I know they've changed it a lot of times. I wish they didn't exist, but I feels like I'm getting land screwed more in best of 1. But I think it's just easier to curve out on best of 1 with 2 drops. I think that's the main point of hand smoother.
You reading this or am I reading this?
I think, yeah, you're next. We are done with the uncommons in black. What do you think?
What do I think about the uncommons in black? Some of them are really, really high power.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. The artifact based ones don't seem super strong to me.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the more like generically strong ones are quite good as well. Like the removal spell, the Wormcoil Larva, I think just fits in any deck.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly speaking, Mindless Conscription. Oh, you do have to work for Mindless Conscription, but like Marionette Apprentice, I think fits in any deck. But then you have like Etch Slith and Pteramander, which are kind of like misses, and when you're missing that much for an archetype, it's kind of trouble.
Yeah. You do have like 3 incredible ones. But I actually think that Black have some, these 3 are crazy good, but it doesn't feel like, it feels kind of balanced. It's not like black uncommons are better than the uncommons in other colors. Right?
Yeah, it feels, the colors feel pretty balanced to me so far. Like, oftentimes when we did the set review, like one of the colors like, whoa, what happened to this color? I don't feel that way yet.
Not yet, yeah. But I do like black commons quite a lot. Man, so far this set seems like it's gonna be so good. Okay. Onto the black array. Sorry, what?
Sithonian Nightmare?
Yeah.
1 and a black for a 2 mana enchantment. When Sithonian Nightmare enters the battlefield, you gain 3 energy. Pay X energy. Sacrifice a creature. Return this to its owner's hand. Return target creature card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Now let's break it down what this actually does. You got a 3-drop in your graveyard. You got an Eldrazi spawn token in play. You can then bounce this card back to your hand and get that 3-drop back into play. And then you can replay this and get 3 more energy. Really interesting card. Really interesting card. Notably, you can only activate a sorcery, no block sacking shenanigans.
Black doesn't make any energy on common and uncommon. Just the word of notice. Nothing. 0.
I think that this is a powerful card, and I don't also expect it. Well, it's pretty easy to splash this card. It is pretty easy to splash this card, but you need some conditions. I would like to have things to sack, ideally spawns. And it's pretty gas if you can get back more things with energy. But then your graveyard has to be filled. So it's a powerful effect and a set that I don't think is particularly great at filling the graveyard. I guess maybe blue-black is maybe its best home because you have like stuff to loot.
Green is good at making Eldrazi tokens.
And has but green also doesn't have like energy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah. It's pretty splashable as well.
There's a really cool Izzet. Can I just say this? Like Izzet 3-drop that has 2/2 and prowess and it makes 3 energy. And when it dies, you can pay 3 energy to deal damage to target creature on opponent controls. So you play this. It's a 3/3 because of prowess. And you deal 3 damage to them, get something back, and just like move that around. So that's pretty cool.
I think this barely doesn't get there for me, hoops wise. I'm gonna give this a C-.
I think it does get there for me. You can sack like a token or something. I think for me it's like a C, but I think there is a ceiling. Like there are gonna be some combo decks where this is gonna be wildly good. Some 3
in the right deck, it
decks.
could be like a BP plus.
Ceiling of a B. I can see ceiling of a B. I'm gonna be picking this every time I see it to make the deck work in the first weeks. Because man, it's interesting. Crabomination. For 4 and double black. It's a 5/5. Sorry, 1 second. You can also emerge it from artifacts, which means you may cast this spell by sacrificing an artifact and paying the emerge cost reduced by that artifact's mana value. So it's same like emerge that you do from creatures, but now you can, I guess, do it from equipment most of the time. But okay, 6 is what it costs. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent exiles the top card of their library, a card at random from their graveyard, and a card at random from their hand. You may cast a spell from among cards exiled this way without paying its mana cost. That's a lot of selection, and they are losing a card from hand as well. Whoo-wee! Oh yeah, this in cube is gonna be crazy, but this is a 3-for-1. At 2-for-1 at minimum. Like you gotta be very unlucky for this not to be 2-for-1. So 2-for-1 at minimum, 3-for-1 it can be. And I'm actually super happy playing this, like sacking an artifact just to play it sooner, like a 2 or 3 mana artifact that made a token. Like sometimes I'm happy to do it if they have 1 card in their hand. So emerge is not great, but it is really nice when they have 1 card left. You just cast it, so you get that hit. But usually it's like a 6 mana 5/5. I think almost always 6 mana 5/5. There isn't individual graveyard hate, right? So you exile all but 1 card. Wait. Exiles the top card random from one card random from graveyard and 1 card random from their hand. What? Not sure what's going on here. It's great. This is great. And you do cast it for free. I'm on an A- for this one.
Me too. A- for crab.
Yeah. If you don't exile a card from hand, it's still really good. But if you do, then it's a bomb. So average A-. It's amazing.
Emperor of Bones, 1 and a black for a 2/2 skeleton noble. At the beginning of combat in your turn, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Adapt for 2 mana. Adapt 2 for 2 mana. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters and put an Emperor of Bones, put a creature card exiled with Emperor of Bones onto the battlefield under your control with a finality counter on it. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Interesting card. This is a 2 mana bear that can pretty easily become 4 mana. That's already quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Even after you adapt it, it still exiles cards from your opponent's graveyard, so it can keep them off of any sort of graveyard synergies, grave digs, etc.
Yeah.
Later on in the game, like for example, if you top deck this, you can't adapt it immediately, but you can adapt it on your next turn after you exiled something, which is kind of nice, right? Like I guess in the beginning of your next end step, or sorry, the beginning of beginning of combat in your turn. Oh, so you can do it immediately. Yeah, so actually you can do, if you top deck this, you can play it, adapt it, steal their opponent's best creature. This doesn't attack, but that thing does. Very nice. This is really strong. Does a lot of utility. I think this is a B+.
Yeah, it's before attackers. You can also do it for blockers. Right? You can block with that, right? You can make a blocker.
Yeah, you can block with that. It's pretty freaking good.
Oh, that's pretty cool. What do you give it?
I gave it a B+.
I'm okay with a B+. The Adept is not sorcery speed. It's you can use.
Yeah, Adept is instant speed.
Instant speed, yeah.
It's wild.
B+, very good, very good card. If the creature, I don't think it's a bomb, but it's incredible to drop.
It's really close to a bomb.
Yeah.
With all the extra ways to add +1/+1 counters.
Yeah, the extra ways of I don't think there's that many extra ways, but there are some, and that's huge. Like with white green, like you need to pair black with white green, right? Because black doesn't have that add +1/+1 on its own, correct?
Just black, Wither and Bloom.
What does that do?
The -3/-3, then add a counter.
Oh yeah, that's a common. That's a common. Oh fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good, man. Flare of Malice for 2 and double black, instant speed. Like all of these flares, I think. You may sacrifice. Maybe it's not the flare. I don't know. You may sacrifice a non-token black creature rather than pay this spell's mana value cost. Oh my god, how am I reading this? Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the greatest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. 4 mana, they sack the biggest thing, the greatest thing. It's fine. Nothing that special. It's fine. Non-token black creature, sack that. You could play the 2/1. The trigger goes on stack when you both have to sacrifice something. Then you sack that 2/1. And maybe it is the only card you have, and the opponent, you don't sacrifice anything then if you don't have a non-token creature, right? Right, Scotty?
That is cute. That is very cute, and legal.
It's fine. I would say it's still a C plus. You're killing their biggest thing, so for 4 that's okayish. Instant speed, it's nice, but this effect it's cool, but I don't think it's super important.
I think it's only slightly overcosted for the effect. I kind of do like this effect for 3 mana. It's fine. I think the only time you're casting it for free is when your creature's dying anyway.
Yeah, when they use a removal spell. It's pretty good tempo for when they use removal spell. Like 0 mana, that's it. That's 0 mana. You're sure sacking a thing that will die anyways. I can see this being a B-, but C+ for now.
Necro Dominance, black, 3 mana total for legendary enchantment. Skip your draw step. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay any amount of life. If you do, draw that many cards. Your maximum hand size is 5. If a card or token would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. This one's spicy. It's pretty spicy. It reads not super well, right? Because you have to pay life to draw cards for the rest of the game, question mark. But there's some amount of life gain that you have between like your 2-drops, your removal spells. And when you play this, for example, like you're playing a normal 2-color deck with a 9/8 split, you play this on like turn 5, turn 6, then you refuel back up to 5 cards in hand immediately for the low cost of a mana card, which is expensive. That was sarcasm. But I think this is better than unplayable. I think this is better. I think this is actually a playable Magic card in the right controlling shell. Like, this is pretty overwhelming late game if your deck is suited for it. And it's only because there's some amount of life gain at common in black. So I'm gonna say this is a C.
Ooh, that's high.
Yeah, it's high, right? I'm a believer. I'm a big
also
spicy boy.
Triple black, not easy. But this thing with, you know, the 1/3 detacher, that when you draw your third card,
Ooh, that's hot.
yeah, and
That's a lot of commons that this works with.
that's a common that costs that's a common in black. 1/3 3-drop. So you draw 3 cards. When you draw 3 or more cards per turn, you just for free you drain the opponent for 2 life and you gain 2 life. That's pretty good. That is pretty good, that part. It's triple black, it's so hard to pay though. And you can't go, it's beginning of your end step, right? So you can maximum, you don't want to go to more than 5 cards most of the time, because then you gotta start discarding. Let's see, huh? There is also that blue-black 2/1 flyer at common, which enters the battlefield tapped every time you draw your third card in a turn. So that's something.
I don't see this as I see these cards that synergize with this as cards that black is already playing.
The 1/3 common is really good with this though. What other black cards?
The 2/1 lifelinker for 2. Just pad your life total.
Oh, because it has lifelink.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is playable. I'm gonna give it a D. If you have those cards, I think you can definitely play this. Okay. Nethergoyf. For black, you got a star and 1+ star toughness, power and toughness creature. These guys, power is equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. And its toughness equal to that number +1. You can escape it though for 2 and a black and exile any number of other cards from your graveyard with 4 or more card types among them. So escape is not really happening. I mean, it's only 1 mana. So you need like a creature. A land is kind of easy to get, an instant sorcery. And it's kind of fine for limited, I guess. It's just 1 mana. Only in your graveyard, yeah. I think it's fine for limited. Good tempo. On the later turn. Early turn is nothing special. I think this is a C+ for limited.
I definitely don't want it in the B range.
Yeah. Not a great top deck.
I'm gonna give it a C. I'm gonna give it a C.
It's like creatures, artifacts, sometimes enchantments, lands.
How are your artifacts going to the bin?
Yeah, artifacts, lands. Those are going to the artifacts, creatures, land, sorcery, instant card, and sometimes even sagas.
I guess they're the artifact creatures, yeah. Enchantment creatures.
Yeah.
In white.
So it's easy for this to be a good tempo card.
Yeah, I'll go C+. It's a really, really good double spell card.
Yeah, yeah. But nothing too broken. Like exiling is can be okay sometimes, I guess. Next up.
Ripples of Undeath, 1 and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, mill 3 cards. Then you may pay 1 and 3 life. If you do, put a card from among those cards into your hand. I don't think there's a ton that gets incidental value just off the milling. If this mill effect was like really powerful, I'd be kind of into this. I'm not into paying 1 mana and 3 life for a card. I understand that it's like you get to choose among them, which is kind of nice. But I think this is an F. I think this is an F. I don't think I play this.
This is pretty bad, yeah. It's like too much mana and life to spend for this effect. I'm gonna put it as an F as well. I think this is pretty bad. I think this is really bad. Bad way to gain cards. I think black has enough better ways to gain cards. Shield Gengar, Sire of Famine. For 3 and double black, it's a 6/6 flyer. Okay. Sacrifice another creature, create a blood token. If you sacrificed an angel this way, create a number of blood tokens equal to its toughness instead. For 3 hybrid ores of mana, you sacrifice 6 blood tokens. Return each creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Those creatures are vampires in addition to their other types. So this is still just a 5 mana 6/6 flyer with upside. How many angels do we have in the set?
There's a Voltstorm Angel at uncommon.
There's one in white. Nothing on common, and on uncommon, yeah, we have literally one card, which is like amazing with this. That one card is amazing with this thing. So you just sack things for free, and there are a lot of ETBs in this set. So you're getting extremely well started creature, 5 mana 6/6. And then sure, it's great with the angel. It's so good to get creatures back in this set. There are a lot of ETBs. A lot. Is this a bomb? I'm on an A- on this one. A-.
I'm okay with A-.
Yeah, this is amazing. Oh, if you have a marionette, yeah.
Warren Soul Trader, 2 and a black for a creature, zombie, goblin, wizard. It's a 3/3 and pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, create a treasure token. Cool that it exists. I think that the effect isn't super powerful. Like, what are we gonna do? Sacker spawns for treasures? We did it. It's cool, right? It's fine, but I think it's marginally better than a 3 mana 3/3, which is nothing special. Is there anything else I'm missing with this? You can double trigger because it's an artifact. You can double trigger your marionettes. Yeah, block sacking is a thing because instant speed. That's kind of nice. Fixing, I guess. You can turn your Eldrazi spawns into fixers. I think this is a C.
No, it's really nice that it costs no mana at all, or tap or anything. I think it's better than that. Like, it's completely free. The effect is marginal. Like, sometimes you care about artifacts, I guess, but it's usually not worth sacrificing a creature. So it's a B at minimum. Yeah, this set doesn't care that much about sacrifice, I think. So I'm gonna give it a C+. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I think you actually won this inner set, but I don't think you're. It's more like sure, Eldrazi's sack them to trump, and then you still have a treasure. That's really nice. You kind of care sometimes about artifacts, I guess. It's really good with Marionette, though. Yeah, it's nice. Sorin of House Markov. For 1 and a black, it's a 1/4 lifelinker, and you get Exhort. Exhort means whenever you cast a spell, you may play either white or black, and if you do, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain that much life. So, at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, exile Sorin of House Markov and return it back as a Planeswalker. So you gotta gain 3 or more life. You're probably not attacking with your 1/4, unless you put a counter there. Okay? But what do you get? You still get Exhort. You get 3 loyalty. And again you get a +2 to make a food token. Not the greatest protection, but it's +2. For -1, Sorin deals damage equal to the amount of life you gain this turn to any target. So you can just do that. If you gain 3 life, you can just flip it and -1 for 3 or more damage. So that's nice. For -6, gain control, or you can just make a food, gain 3 life, deal 3 damage. You can also exhort and so on. For -6, gain control of target creature, it becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. Put a lifelink counter on it if you control a white permanent other than that creature or Sorin. This one, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, chat. This one is actually the hardest one to flip, by far. You have some exhort, but I mean, you do have the 1/3 Death Toucher that drains when you draw cards, like that drains for 5 or for 0 if you draw enough cards. 2 mana 1/5 for lifelinker is not that bad though, with exhort, so that's not bad. You have the 2/1 lifelinker that can adapt for 2, right? And give itself menace. So it's not gonna just randomly attack. So that common 2/1 lifelinker is gonna flip this kind of easily. So that's pretty good. +2 2 times and -6, that's also a thing. Okay, I actually don't think this one is a bomb. Because for this one you kind of do need to work for it. So for this one I'm gonna be on a B+. This is not great on the front. Like 1/4 lifelinker with exhort is nothing that great.
Okay. I'm gonna say 1/4 lifelinker with extort is very strong. That's a really, really good 2-drop. Extort is a really powerful mechanic on anything. Have we played an extort set on Arena yet?
We had some extort cards, but they were really bad. They were like some enchantment that does nothing except extort.
Yeah. Extort is powerful card. Line of text. I like it a lot. I'm gonna go A-.
Okay. This is the worst one out of the Planeswalkers that we saw. So, Scott, you have like 15 more minutes, right?
Yeah, so I don't think I should do the next one.
Okay, so it seems like we are gonna be done with red. Black looks super... Man, how do you feel about the set so far?
How do I feel about the set so far?
Yeah?
It's... So I had this thought before I started doing the set review that it looks like there's a decent amount of cross overlap between the different archetypes. I was concerned at first because a lot of the archetypes seem somewhat parasitic with each other in terms of like how would they actually pull off an overlap. And I'm a little bit afraid of the drafting process being on rails because it's, first of all, it's a high synergy set, right? Which means you want those synergy cards. Energy cards want energy cards.
Yeah.
So I'm a little afraid I pick up like 3 energy cards, pack 1 through 3, and then I just take everything that says energy on it. That's pretty boring draft.
I don't think it's going to work like that.
That's a little bit of a fear of the draft process. And like, for example, once I decide I'm like red-black artifacts, I just take everything that says artifact on it, which is a little concerning for the draft process. We will see how many sub-archetypes and hybrid archetypes you can make in the set. And I think that will save the whole drafting process. Like that's how you make a parasitic draft set, is that you have a bunch of hybrid archetypes. And we'll see if there's enough cross-pollination in this set in order to make it really, really fun. But the gameplay itself looks quite fun. I like how flat the power level seems so far.
Yeah, that's also true. But I don't believe in what you said at first, because these synergies, they don't look like, okay, I'm taking energy cards, I need energy cards, because the floor of those cards is fine. I think you can have decks where you have a little bit of energy or a little bit of modified. It's not like the cards are just bad unless you're playing that set. I think that's that's when the problem happens. Is like when the cards are bad and the payoffs are like really good, but the cards are crappy when you don't have these synergies. It doesn't look like that. Like the payoffs don't look crazy broken or anything. And the
like toxic, right?
Sorry, what?
Like toxic is a quintessential problematic parasitic mechanic.
Yeah.
The cards are
toxic.
beyond their own.
I mean, toxic has a lot of problems. It's like also works only on attacks, so you need to make attacks good, and then if blocking is not very good, then it makes it for a set where you just really want to be the one attacking, which kind of ends up in a boring set. And yeah, you just want to take every toxic card because you need like a threshold of cards, and it's not working then. But here, like with energy, we didn't get to all the energy cards, of course. But the cards that we reviewed so far, it's like none of them is like, oh my god, this card does nothing if it has energy. And none of them is, oh my god, this card is broken if you have energy. Talking about the commons and uncommons. Same for modified. Like if it's like, okay, yeah, we mentioned, okay, you have some modifiers that make this card better, but the card is pretty good on its own. Or some of them are just pretty bad on their own. And the cards that do modify, they're like, okay, this works in aggro. This works with these cards that don't care about modifications. Like it works with cards that don't have modifications. So I really don't it doesn't feel like what you just said, like a parasitic set, because then you would like be pushed. For me, it's like then you're kind of pushed to drafting. When you start with energy, you're pushed to draft energy, but you don't have to do this. Or you're pushed to draft modifications when you go into modify deck, because they don't work with other things. Similar like modular, right? If everything was modular, it's like, okay, the artifact creatures and non-modular creatures, there's only one in this set, so that's not the case. Like, they don't work with these modular things, so I really don't want anything else. And I don't see this here. Like, what are the artifact synergies? It's like one common in black that we saw so far. That's the artifact thing. And what are the energy what are the energy payoffs that don't work without energy? You get a 2 mana 2/1 that can loot. That's enough. It doesn't have to be anything else for energy. 1 mana card that the Quench, for example, gets better with energy, but you can still counter without it. The 1 mana draw 1 card and get 2 energies. Sure, okay. I don't know if I want to play that if I don't have anything to do with energy, but it's just like 1 mana cantrip, so it's not gonna be the end of the world. You pay 1 mana, you get a new card. Maybe you can use the energy. What made you think that it is kind of parasitic? Because I don't see any cards that push me towards those things.
Well, I said when I first looked at the set archetypes, right? There's like a matrix that Wizards published about what the archetypes are.
Yeah.
Before the set came out, and I'm like, oh, these are like inherently parasitic mechanics. The cards themselves, what I think does a lot of the legwork of what you're saying, is that they wanted to add as many past callback mechanics as possible. And I think what that does is it adds a lot of interesting small micro synergies within the cards themselves, right? While still synergizing with the main theme, right? Like there's one modular card, which means that when you draft that, your brain now thinks, oh, I have slightly different priorities, but it's not like, oh, I'm a modular deck.
Yes.
Right? Which is brilliant. I think that's a brilliant move, right?
Yeah.
Like you draft the support card, and then you're like, okay, now I prioritize curving out because I want to maximize my support card. But you're like, that's not my entire deck. That's not my entire archetype, right? I have some support cards.
Yeah.
And now, like, maybe I have 4 support cards, and like now I'm really doing it. But then another draft, you might get 1, and they, okay, I kind of care about it, right?
Yeah.
Which leads to really interesting variations in the draft. So I think that's a really good way to approach a set.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we didn't play the set yet, but that's kind of what I love when a set is like that. When it's like these micro synergies, as you said, not like this archetype is always doing one thing, other cards are useless. Like we had these sets in the past where half of the white blue cards care about draw 2, the other half cares about, I don't know, flash or whatever, and then it's like, well, I need to focus on one, otherwise half of my cards are not gonna work. Here, this I think that's a very good design choice. Is like you have this with these micro synergies, you have something that kind of incentivizes you to make the card a little bit better, but by having cards that care about modifications, for example, or cards that modify themselves in the deck. But if you don't have enough of them, your deck is not in shambles. But you can like enhance your deck with having enough micro synergies, because I think rarely you're gonna have a deck that's super focused on only one thing. I think that's not gonna be that happening that often. Like for example, we didn't get to multicolors yet, but there's like a 3 mana 3/3 Golgari creature that has a depth for 1, and it when it attacks, it buffs one of your adds a +1/+1 counter to one of your modified creatures. I mean, the card is fine on its own, but it's nice, and it doesn't all of a sudden make it synergizes super well with some cards. But if you don't get the synergies, okay, it's not getting out of the deck, it's useless now. No, it's still pretty good, but you can make the cards better. You can get some engines. Like there are a lot of engines in this set that you can make them, you can draft them. And if it's basically never gonna be, I think, if you don't succeed, now the deck sucks. So I think it's gonna have a ton of choices in the drafting department. But I was a little bit worried about the same thing. Like if you must go energy and everything else sucks in that archetype, it sucks when you're drafting, I don't know, white, red that cares about energy, and 50% of the cards are like, I just don't ever pick this. But it doesn't seem like that in this set. So This could be another hit, man. This you didn't really play Modern Horizons 1 and 2, right?
No, I did not.
Man, those are crazy interesting. It's
Well, I mean, I played one. I played a decent amount of one.
yeah. The second one was like infinitely better as well.
Yeah, I didn't play any of two.
Yeah, it's exciting. Well, everybody, this has been it for today's set review. Tomorrow we are going to continue with, next on the agenda is red, then we have green, and then we have multicolored. And we're going to see if we have time. I think we're going to have time to grade the, well, special guests are not as important. We're going to do those as well. But the bonus sheet, the reprints that we are getting in the bonus sheet. So, Scotty, well, let me see. I have still have therapy tomorrow, but I can get out of it earlier. See.